अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन। क्या हाल है आप लोगों के? जस्ट 1 मिनट, स्टार्ट करते हैं। वालेकुम अस्सलाम, वालेकुम अस्सलाम। एड मैथ्स कब? एड मैथ्स इंशाल्लाह, लेट मी सी, मे बी आई विल डू अ एड मैथ्स स्ट्रीम टुमारो, लेट्स सी। ओके, विल दिस गेट फ्रीकी? टाइम विल टेल। मैं ठीक अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, आप लोग कैसे हैं? सर जी मॉक्स फाइनली ख़त्म हो गए, चलें, गुड टू हियर दैट। आई होप अच्छे गए हों आपके मॉक्स। अच्छा हुआ, ईद से पहले ख़त्म हो गए, अब आप ईद एंजॉय करें। Sir, I got 90 in mock. How do I prep further for CIs? Does see where you've lost the 10 marks? I can't tell you without seeing your paper. So you have your paper, see where you've lost the 10 marks, and then prepare. Sir, can you share the Dropbox link of the worksheet before stream? I've already shared this. I shared this yesterday only. So I did a stream on this yesterday. This is a continuation, so I've already shared this. And I try to share it beforehand. Sometimes when I don't have it prepared, I don't. But other than that, I do. Sir, add maths, composite function, domain and range. Okay. Sir, for S1, do you prefer more topicals or yearlies? Yearlies, beta. You can't. Your topicals are only good when you're learning a specific topic. When you're done with that, close to exams, you should be doing yearly past papers only. Do you do international maths? No, I'm afraid I don't. Which one are we doing, O-level or IGCSE? So we're going to do some more questions from O-levels, and then we're going to do IGCSE as well. Today is going to be a lengthy stream, inshallah, a 2-hour stream minimum. So yeah, let's lock in. ठीक है, हर वक्त आप लोग यही पूछते रहते हैं ना, सर, if I lock in now, will I get an A? If I lock in now, will I get an A star? So let's lock in now. So graphs of functions में सिर्फ draw करना होता है, graph और table fill करना होता है ना बस. But I wish it was that simple. But that's not the case. Okay, if that was the case, I would probably not be doing so many streams on this. Okay, so once again, instead of asking, instead of assuming, just solve yourself, solve plenty of past papers, you'll realize. Okay, I've noticed this increasing trend that people just, instead of figuring out on their own, they just ask a lot of questions. Okay, sir, if I do this, will this happen? If I do that, will this happen? I mean, where are your guts, guys? Where are your, what's happened to your risk-taking appetite? Just do it yourself, find out. Simple as that. हर चीज़ पूछ के करोगे तो क्या होगा? Sir, do you have February, March? I still haven't gotten my hands on February, March paper. Although इस टाइम तक आ जाते हैं, कहीं ना कहीं से कोई ना कोई शेयर कर ही देता है, but so far I haven't seen the February, March paper. Let me see. Let me try and get a hold of the February, March papers and see maybe if I can solve it on a live stream or something. So I have 3 topicals left for topical, and then I'll start yearly practice. Will I be able to complete till CIE? No, beta, you should start, no matter what stage you are at, as far as topicals are concerned, start yearlies right now. To get better late than never. 3 topicals, that means it's probably going to take you like 3-4 days per topic. So that means you probably end up wasting 2 weeks. So that's not a good idea. Start yearlies right now. No matter where you stand on topical, start yearlies right now. If you don't, well, good luck to you. Anyway, so सवाल जवाब तो होते रहेंगे. Now let's start. Sir, there are 42 left and I have 4 subjects, physics and maths and bio. However, I have a relatively strong grip on sciences. Compared to maths is never good and I barely get the A grade in it. So, beta, that's not a good place to be in. You should not settle with that. You should solve more and more yearly past papers. Sir, तरावी ख़त्म हो गई आपके यहाँ? हाँ जी बेटा, that's why I'm here. बिल्कुल हो गई. Anyway, so let's begin. So अच्छा, you mean पूरी तरावी ख़त्म हो गई? नहीं नहीं नहीं, पूरी नहीं हुई है. I think probably कल होगा ख़त्म इंशाल्लाह. खैर, so let's start. This is a past paper. This is अच्छा, this is IGCSE. I thought this was. Oh अच्छा, ये तो IGCSE खोला हुआ है मैंने. चलो, first let's do some O-level questions, then we'll do some IGCSE. ठीक है, we had some O-level questions pending. Let's do those first, and then we'll do some IGCSE questions. Yeah, I like this question. Yeah. कोई मुश्किल सवाल ढूंढ रहा हूँ मैं ज़रा. चलें, let's do this. Sir, trig functions differentiation remaining only else done. ठीक है, like I said, सवाल जवाब होते रहेंगे. Let's lock in now. Let's lock in for real. इतना बोल बोल के आप लोगों ने ना मेरी भी ज़बान पे चढ़ा दिया. खैर, complete the table of values for y is equals to 2 power x upon 5. Let's plug in 4 in place of x. Okay. ये है May June 2023 paper 2 variant 2. So let's plug in 4 in place of x. Use your calculator please, not your mental math, not very reliable. So you get 3.2. Okay, so 1 easy mark. Then the question says, draw the graph of y is equals to 2 power x upon 5 for x is greater than or equal to -1, lesser than or equal to 4. Okay, so first let's get familiar with the scale. Now that we have solved so many questions, I think this should not be that big of a problem. As far as the x-axis is concerned, you can see that 1 unit has been split into 10 small boxes, so that's equal to 0.1 unit per box. And as far as the y-axis is concerned, it's 1 unit split into 10 boxes as well, which is also 0.1 unit per box. Okay, doing this is important. Now, let's see what the question says. Let's see what the points are. So minus 1, 0.1, minus 1, 0.1, that's right here. 0 at 0 it's 0.2, so that's right here. At 1 it's 0.4, so that's right here. At 2 it's 0.8, so that's right here. At 3 it's 1.6, so that's right here. At 3 it's 1.6, at 4 it's 3.2, so that's right here. Okay, so let's do a couple of shadow sketches. So here we go. Let's do this one more time. Remember, the idea is that we are adding this to our muscle memory. Okay, so we have done that. Now let's join all the points. Let's make a rough sketch. Not a rough sketch actually, let's make a tidy sketch, as neat as possible. There we go. And there we go. Not bad. Yeah. Okay, now, by drawing a suitable line on the grid, solve 2 power x equals to 6. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to keep our eyes on the price. What do I mean by that? By that I mean keep an eye on the equation of the curve. Okay, what do I have to do? I have to bring the left hand side equal to the equation of the curve. ठीक है, क्या करना है मैंने? I have to bring the left hand side equal to the equation of the curve, which means all I need to do is I need to divide the left hand side by 5. So if I divide the left hand side by 5, that means I need to divide the right hand side by 5. The left hand side becomes equal to the equation of the curve, which means I can simply replace it with y. The right hand side becomes 6 upon 5, which is equal to 1.2. So what is that suitable line that the question said? That suitable line is 1.2. Okay, this is the suitable line that I have to draw. Okay, now let's draw that suitable straight line, which is this right here. Here is 1.2. ठीक हो गया? अच्छा, what is the question saying? The question is saying find out the solution, solve this. So what are we looking for? We're looking for the point of intersection. So the point of intersection that I can see is 2.6. There you go. So x equals to 2.6. That's the answer. Sir, I do not understand when to take -2 whole square and when to take -2 square. Dekho, if you're plugging in x as -2 and if, let's say, the equation has x square in it, then obviously you're going to do -2 whole square because all of x is -2. So you're going to do -2 whole square. Okay? So there you go. Like for example, let's say the equation is x squared upon 3. And if the question says that the value of x is minus 3. So when you're plugging it in, you're going to do minus 3 whole square upon 3. Because x is minus 3 and the square is on x. How is it 2.6? Here it is. This is 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6. There you go. You're looking for the point of intersection, right? So what's the x coordinate of the point of intersection? That's 2.6. Okay. So yeah, that's it. Okay, now complete the table for the value for y equals to 2x plus 1. So once again, one free mark. Let's plug in. Let's first make y the subject so that we can find out the value of y directly. So 2x plus 1 upon 4. Acha, मैं काम करता हूँ. I will do the working alongside, as in the calculation part alongside, so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Acha, sir, there was a question where the line was touching the curve at 3 points, but my voice is distorting. Sure. Hang on. Okay, अब सही है? Is it all right now? It was distorting in between. Well, if it does that again, let me know. Okay, now. So let's plug in minus 1. So make a fraction, 2, bracket open, write minus 1 in place of x with a bracket, of course, plus 1. So that's 2x plus 1 divided by 4. So if I plug in 4, what do we get? We get minus 0.25. So minus 0.25. Okay, now no need to do everything all over again. Wherever you've plugged in minus 1, just plug in 2. And what do you get? You get 5 over 4, which is 1.25. Okay, now please understand that in order to get this 1 mark, you have to get both the values right. Okay, if you only get one value right and the other wrong, don't expect 0.5 because there's no such thing as 0.5. You will get 0. Okay, so to get 1 mark, you need to get both the values right. Okay, now on the grid on page 8, draw the graph of 4y is equals to 2x plus 1 for minus 1 to 4. Okay, so we have the points. Let's draw the graph. So one point is minus 1 minus 0.25. So let's use a different color for that. Minus 1 and minus 0.25. So where will I mark minus 0.25? So I'm going to be as accurate as possible. Minus 0.25 means in between minus 0.2 and minus 0.3. ठीक हो गया? Then we have 2 comma 1.25. So 2 comma 1.25 means that in between 1.2 and 1.3. So that's this point right here. Then we have 4 comma 2.25. So 4 comma 2.25 means 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. So here is 2.25. Okay. Mic problem again. Again, mic problem. Yes or no? No? Okay. Okay, then I'm afraid the problem is at your end. So let's make a straight line, making sure that it passes through all the points. There you go. All the points line up. So that means the points are correct. We've marked the points correctly. Okay, so how many marks? One more mark. Find the x coordinates of the point where the line 4y equals to 2x plus 1 crosses the graph y is equals to 2 power x upon 5. Now let's look at the points of intersection. So look at how many blanks we have. We have 2 blanks, right? So if we have 2 blanks, then what does that mean? That means there are going to be 2 points of intersection. Can you explain again? There's nothing to explain here. All I've done is I basically marked these 3 points on the graph and I've joined them and drawn a straight line. That's what I've done. Okay, so here's what I've done. These are the 3 points. The question said draw this line. So we mark the 3 points on the line just like how we mark the points of the graph. Join the 3 points, got in the straight line. That's it, job done. Okay, then in the following part, the question says find the x coordinates of the point where the line crosses the graph. Okay, that means what are we looking for? We are looking for the points of intersection. Okay, there's got to be 2 points of intersection because how many blanks do we see? We see 2 blanks. Okay, so here is one, which as per my graph in straight line is minus 0.2. Okay, so here is one, which as per my graph in straight line is minus 0.2. ठीक हो गया? Then I see another one, which is in between. Let's have a look. This is in between 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. So this is in between 3.1 and 3.2, which means that this will be 3.25. ठीक है, ये नहीं कि ज़बरदस्ती round off कर लें. There may not be a lot of margin for error. So this is 3.25. I'm not saying that 3.2 will not be acceptable or 3.3 will not be acceptable, but if you see a value which is in between 2 points, make sure you write it as it is. Okay, don't take any unnecessary risk. All right, now, part 4. How will I do part 4? I want you guys to take a closer look and tell me how will I solve part 4. In the meantime, I'm going to answer some questions. Will you do the stream of curve sketching? Yes, I will. Curve sketching पे भी I do plan on doing a stream inshallah very soon. Sir, आप अंग्रेजी बहुत बोलते हैं. But I have an international audience, so I need to cater to them also. That's why. ठीक है, और ये सब जो हम पढ़ रहे हैं सब अंग्रेजी में ही तो है, तो मैं अंग्रेजी में नहीं बोलूँगा तो क्या बोलूँगा? Equate the equations. That's correct. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is I am going to basically equate them. Why? Because what is this equation representing? What this equation is representing is basically the solutions of the equation. Okay, solutions means what? Solutions means points of intersection. Points of intersection means that I'm going to equate them. Okay, solutions का मतलब the points of intersections, okay, which means I'm going to equate them and I'm going to bring them in this form. Okay, so I'm going to equate the 2 equations. Which 2 equations? These 2 equations. 4y equals to 2x plus 1. Okay, that's equation number 1. And I'm going to equate this with y is equals to 2 power x upon 5. Okay, equate kar lo, substitute kar lo, same thing. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Dekho, let's go back. Let's go back to maybe grade 8 or grade 9. If let's say you had 2 equations, okay, 2 equations of straight lines, and you had to find out the point of their intersection. So there was one method which was graphically, but there's another method. Another method is we solve them simultaneously. Now, how can we solve them simultaneously? We can solve them simultaneously by elimination, or we can solve them simultaneously by substitution. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to substitute these 2 equations. Basically, my job is to solve them simultaneously, except that I'm not going to find out the value of x. I'm going to substitute the 2 equations and bring them in the form the question wants. Okay? I'm going to solve these 2. Okay? I'm going to plug in one equation into the other, and I will bring them in this form, and then I will compare. Okay? It's like, you know how you find out the values of a, b, and c from a quadratic equation to plug them in a quadratic formula. What do? You compare it with ax squared plus bx plus c, right? So here I'm going to do the exact same thing. I will bring it in this form and then I will compare. Okay? So I'm going to substitute equation number 2 in equation number 1. Okay? So solve simultaneously by equating or by substituting. एक ही बात है. ठीक है? So we're going to solve them simultaneously by either equating or by substituting. It's up to you how you want to look at it. So we have 4y equals to 2x plus 1. Now in place of y, we're going to have 2 power x. Same thing. You can make y the subject and put them equal, or you can substitute them. Okay? It's the exact same thing. No need to argue okay, what's better and what's not. Like I said, it's the exact same thing. If you do substitution, you know what? You won't have to do a lot of working. Okay, if you substitute it as it is, you won't have to do a lot of working. But remember to keep your eyes on the price. What is that? That is that we have to bring it in this form. A, which is a constant, multiplied by 2 power x plus bx plus c equals to 0. Okay, so keep your eyes on the price. So how about I write it like this? 4 upon 5 into 2 power x, because I need to write it the way the question wants, so I don't have a lot of options, minus 2x minus 1 equals to 0. Now, tell me, does it look like this? Yes or no? Do these two look similar? Yes, they do. Now, compare. Simply compare them, okay? So what do you see being multiplied with 2 power x? You see 4 upon 5, which means the value of a equals 4 upon 5. Okay, 4 upon 5 or 0.8, however way you want to write it. We're not going to argue with that. What do you see as the coefficient of x? The coefficient of x is b, which is minus 2. What do you see as the constant? The constant is minus 1. So that's the value of c, which is equal to minus 1. Okay, so just give me 1 minute, I'll be back on my desk. Oh, okay. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. Anyway, so we're done with this question. Let's see. Do you know Sir Waqas? No, I don't. So this is a similar question. Yeah, let's solve this. Sir, can you tell sign matters or not? Of course it matters. Of course it matters. So here it's the coefficient of x is -2. Here it's b, which means b equals to -2. Like for example, dekho, if let's say you have y is equals to -3x minus 5, what will be the gradient of this line? What will be the y-intercept of this line? Okay, so the gradient of this line will be -3 and the y-intercept of this line will be -5. Okay, why? Because we are comparing this with what? We're comparing with this with y equals to positive mx and positive c. That is why. Okay. IGCSE questions aad abhi karte hain. First, let's do maybe one or two more O-level. Then we'll do some IGCSE questions as well. Don't worry. Let me pick another difficult question. Thing is, lately इतना कोई मुश्किल सवाल आया नहीं है. So let's do this. Let's do this. One more question, then I'll do IGCSE questions. Okay. So could you solve one question by equating the equations in the stream? I'll do that also, no problem. Okay. On the grid below, draw the graph of y is equals to 2 power x for 0 to 4. Okay. So in this question, you can see no table has been given, so no problem. We'll make a table of our own. And remind me, in the end, I'll solve some questions from recent years as well, because this PDF does not have questions from 2025. So maybe I'll do some recent years, questions from recent years. Okay. So from 0 to 4. Let's see. Let's get ourselves familiar with the scale. So on the x-axis, it's 1 that has been split into 10 small boxes. So that's 0.1 per box. On the y-axis, it is 5 that has been split into 10 boxes, which is 0.5 per box. ठीक हो गया? Okay, now, let's start plugging in values. This is paper 2, variant 1. Paper 2, basically, so that means you can use a calculator. Now, plug in 0 in place of x, you will have 2 power 0, which means y is equals to 1. Okay, so I'll mark them later. First, let's find enough points. Plug in 1 in place of x, so that's 2 power 1, that's equal to 2. Plug in 2 in place of x, so that's 2 power 3, that's equal to 8. Plug in 3 in place of x, so that's 2 power 2 is equals to, kya kar raha hu main? 2 power 2 is equals to 4. So 2 power 2 equals 4. 2 power 3 equals 8. 2 power 4 equals to 16. Okay, now, so when x is 0, y is 1. There we go. When x is 1, y is 2. When x is 2, y is 4. When x is 3, oh no, wait a minute. It's 0.5 per box. Yeah, see, that is why it's important that you get familiar with the scale. When x is 1, y is 2, so that means 4 small boxes. No, it's not compulsory to make a scale. This is something that we do so that we are familiar with the scale. We don't know how to mark, so that we know how to mark the values. Okay. 2 pe it's 4. 4 means 2 small boxes below 5. At 3 it's 8, which means 1 small box above 7.5. At 4 it's 16, which means 2 small boxes above 15. Now let's do a few shadow sketches. There we go. So once you have this added in your muscle memory, go ahead and do the real thing. There we go. Job done. Okay, now, the diagram shows the graph y is equals to 1 upon 2x squared plus 3x for -1 to 3. By drawing a tangent, estimate the gradient of the curve at x equals to 0.5. Will I have a SAT session after this? Yeah, I think my team is actually in the process of introducing SAT, so inshallah SAT coming to Mathlete very soon. By drawing a tangent, estimate the gradient of the curve at x equals to 0.5. So where is 0.5? Here it is. This is 0.5. ठीक है? अच्छा, अब यहाँ पे हम क्या करेंगे? यहाँ पे we have to draw a tangent. Okay, now remember, what's the purpose of tangent? The purpose of tangent is to take the area around the curve and amplify it. Okay, what's the main purpose of the tangent? The purpose of the tangent is to take the area around that point and to amplify it. That is the primary purpose of drawing a tangent. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to take this point and we're going to draw a tangent. ठीक है, अब ये इतना चुनना सा tangent नहीं बनाना आपने. Make sure that you extend it on both sides. In fact, let me show you how you will do this in the exam. Yeah. So that I don't have any unfair advantage. Yeah. So remember the purpose of the tangent. Purpose of the tangent is what? Is to take the area around the curve and to amplify it. Okay, and to extend it. So this looks good. This looks similar to the steepness of the curve. Okay. Now let's extend it. Let's draw a tangent and let's extend it enough so that we have points, or so that we have enough points to choose from. Okay. Now let's pick 2 points. So one point that I like is this one right here. What is this point? This point has coordinates 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. 1.3 comma 0. So 1.3 comma 0. There we go. Then let's pick another point. I like this point. This point has coordinates 0, 5.2, 5.4, 5.6. So 0, 5.6. Okay. Now you can pick the point where you've drawn the tangent. There is no harm in doing that. Okay. I've just deliberately chosen not to. Okay. Because no matter which 2 points you pick, your answer will be the same. Okay. But a word of advice, always try and pick the points that are further away from each other, not the points that are close to one another. So 5.6 minus 0, that's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's 0 minus 1.3. Let's see what do we get. So the numerator will be 5.6. The denominator will be minus 1.3. So what I'm looking at is minus 4.307, which correct to 3 significant figures will be minus 4.31. There you go. Okay. अच्छा, अब इसका आंसर देखते हैं, because normally when you have the graph that's given, there's not a lot of room for error. When you make the graph yourself, yeah, let me look, minus 3. Okay, minus 3 I think is, let me see. Before I say anything, let me look at the marking scheme, then we'll discuss. Oh, wow. The range is, I think the examiner is feeling very generous. Minus 5.5, मैं तो कभी इतनी range नहीं देता. Minus 5.5 to minus 2.8. Wait, am I sure? Am I checking the correct answer? Yeah, I am. This is the acceptable range. Now this is way too much. Minus 5.5 to minus 2.8, this is way too much. What time is this? Oh, these are COVID times. COVID times when examiners काफी generous हुए होते हैं. ठीक है, October, November 2021. In fact, this is 2021. Yeah, these are COVID times. ठीक है, so during COVID, I feel like that's my personal observation. Okay, it's not a fact. It's not written somewhere, but it's just that the examiners were very generous, I feel, during COVID. So that's why we have such an extended range. But I would probably not rely on it too much. How minus? What do you mean how minus? These are the 2 points. Find out the gradient using these 2 points. You'll get this answer. And this is, if you look closely, this is a downward sloping line. A downward sloping line must have a negative gradient. Acha Zayan, when I'm done, I will upload these solved versions in the same folder. You can download it from there. Okay? Acha, then the question says, use the graph to estimate the solution of the equation. Now, it says use the graph to estimate the solution of the equation. Now remember, if you look at the equation of the curve, you will notice that this is exactly equal to the equation of the curve. Ishal beta, ये है जो range marking scheme में दी हुई है. ठीक है, this is the marking scheme that I'm looking at. This is the range that's given. ठीक है, अब don't think that you will always have such a wide range of acceptable answers. I feel that because these are post-COVID times, that is why during this the examiners were very generous. The thresholds were also very low. So I think that is why they've given such a wide range. ठीक है. So anyway, this is equal to the equation of the curve. That means what I can do is I can simply replace y equals to 2. Notice that the question is not asking you to draw a line. The question is just asking you to use the graph to estimate the solution. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what is the value of x when y is equals to 2. Now, if you're not allowed to draw a straight line, what you can do is you can simply place a scale at y equals to 2. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to position a scale at y equals to 2. I'm not going to draw a line, but you can imagine a line at y equals to 2. And what are we looking for? The point of intersection. So here is the point of intersection. Okay, and isme, let me tell you, you will not have range at all. Okay, isme, I don't think you will have any range, but let me look at the scheme capital. Isme bhi range di view. So minus 0.1, 0.2, minus 3, minus 0.4. So this is 0.4. Okay, because the graph is given, so there should not be a range of acceptable answers. My voice is breaking. I think something has happened to the mic. Is it distorting? Yes or no? Okay, wait a minute. So I'm going to switch to a different mic. This is okay. Ab sahi hai? I've switched to a different mic. Let me know if it's okay. Now it's good? Too low. Okay. What about now? Ab sahi hai? Still low. Okay, I'm going to try and switch back to the original mic. What about now? यार हेडफोन्स है नहीं, मुझे ढूंढने पड़ेंगे. What about now? Great. Okay, great. So I'll inshallah have this fixed by tomorrow. I think the cable, it's time to replace the cable. Khair. So y equals to 2, what is the point? What is the solution? The solution is minus 0.4. अच्छा, अब यहाँ पे भी question has given a range. I think the examiner was feeling very generous while when checking this paper. Although when the graph is given, please note that there is little to no margin of error. Okay, there's practically no margin of error because everyone should get the same answer. The graph is in front of you. You just have to read the value from the graph, so everyone should get the same answer. But anyway, these times were different, so that is why you're given a range. Okay, now, then the question says, by drawing a suitable straight line, by drawing a suitable line on the grid, estimate the solutions of the equation. Okay, so eyes on the prize. This is the prize. Keep your eyes on it. Now, what do we have to do? We have to bring the left-hand side equal to the equation of the curve. So we have 1 upon 2x squared equals to 7 minus 4x. Now tell me what's missing. What should I do on the left-hand side and what should I do on the right-hand side? Yes, sir. Sorry, I joined the stream late. I didn't check the stream. It's okay, beta. It's not an official class. 3x. It's 3x that's missing. That is correct. So that means I need to subtract 3x from the left-hand side. And if I'm doing 3x, wait, plus 3x. So I need to plus 3x on the left-hand side. That means I must do a plus 3x on the right-hand side as well. Okay, so what's my objective? My objective is to bring the left-hand side equal to the equation of the curve. In the equation of the curve, we have 1 upon 2x squared, but what's missing is a plus 3x. So I do a plus 3x on the left-hand side, and the rule of math is whatever I do on the left-hand side, I better do the exact same thing on the right-hand side as well. So the left-hand side becomes equal to the equation of the curve, so that I can replace it by y, not by coincidence, but by design. And the right-hand side is 7 minus 4x plus 3x, which means it's going to be 7 minus x. So if nothing is missing, simply replace it with y. So when do we know when to draw a straight line and when a sloping? So look at the equation of the curve, the equation of the line that you end up with. If the line is y equals to 2, then you end up with a constant. Then you end up with a horizontal line. Y equals to 2 is a horizontal line. ठीक है. So मैं आपको एडवाइस करूँगा, किसने पूछा ये सवाल? हमजा जीशान. हमजा बेटा, I think आपको coordinate geometry ज़रा पढ़ने की ज़रूरत है. Okay, so you can download my notes from the website. They're absolutely free. And please note that there are 4 different types of straight lines. You have an upward sloping line, a downward sloping line. Both their equations look the same. The only difference is that an upward sloping line has a positive gradient and a downward sloping line has a negative gradient. Y equals to c is a horizontal line. When it's y equals to a certain constant, it's a horizontal line. When it's x equals to a certain constant, it's a vertical line. Okay? Now, so 7 minus x. Let's draw this line. What do we need to draw this line? We need points. Where will we get those points from? By substituting random values. Okay, so we'll get those points by substituting random values. So let's do just that. Let's plug in 0, minus 1 and 1. Do we have negative values? Yes, we do. Can you do one example? One example. Okay, I'll do that. I think we have done examples abhi thodi der pehle. Like for example here, this is equal to the equation of the curve. What did I do? I simply replaced it with y equals to 2. The only difference is that we don't have to draw the straight line here. Okay, we just need to imagine a straight line and look for the point of intersection. Okay? Okay, so let's plug in values. Let's start by plugging in minus 1, 0, and then 1. So if I plug in negative 1, please be careful. If you're not feeling too confident about your mental math, use a calculator, no harm in that. What if it's equal 0? So it's y equals to 0, that's the x-axis. If it's equal to 0, then it's y equals to 0, which means, what's the line y equals to 0? It's the x-axis. So you're looking for the point of intersection between the curve and this line. Umeza, right after this, we're doing IGCSE questions, okay? So 7 minus 1, what's that equal to? That's equal to 8. If you plug in 0, 7 minus 0 is 7. If you plug in 1, 7 minus 1 is 6. ठीक हो गया? Now minus 1, comma 8. That's this point right here. 0, comma 7, that's this point right here. Then what was the value at 1? At 1 it was 6, so that's this point right here. Now let's join these 3 points, and please be generous with your line. Make sure to extend it. If you don't extend it enough, you will not get all the points of intersection. ठीक हो गया? So here we are. Now let's look for the points of intersection. So here is one point, which, as far as I can tell, use a scale to read these values, okay? This is minus 0.1, minus 0.2, minus 0.3. So in between 0.2 and 0.3, so that's minus 0.25. So minus 0.25. Okay, now then let's look for the other point. This point is a solid point, meaning we don't have to look for decimals. So this is positive 0.3, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. So this is positive 0.3. 0.2, no, it's 0.3. Then finally this one, which also looks like a nice and solid point. And this is 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. So this is 1.7. Here we go. Okay, so we have found the 3 points of intersection for which we get 4 marks. It's not a bad deal. And the points are well inside the acceptable range. Achha, yahan pe there's not a lot of range. And our answers are exactly in between. Okay, let me show you the acceptable range that's given here. I think the examiner realized that he's been too lenient, so all of a sudden he pulled the plug. ठीक है, उसने एक rug pull maneuver कर लिया. So here you see there's not a very wide range of acceptable answers. So you have minus 0.2 to minus 0.3, and our answer is just inside the acceptable range. 0.2 to 0.4, once again, just inside the acceptable range. 1.6 to 1.8, just inside the acceptable range, exactly in between. Okay. Now, let's do some IGCSE questions. So now IGCSE questions के ना सीधे difficult questions करते हैं. Yeah. Sir, does working matter or only the three answers? The working matters. Of course, working means finding out the points on the straight line, marking those points on the graph and drawing the line, then finding the point of intersection. So you get 2 marks for the answers, okay, and you get 2 marks for drawing the line correctly. Yeah. ठीक है. Only answers, ये कौन है भाई? Only answers, बेटा ऐसा कोई, please don't misguide people here, because they only hear, a lot of students I'm afraid will only hear what they want to hear. So they'll probably take your answer as the final word. So please don't do that. ठीक है. Anyway, let's solve this question. So this is October-November 2020, paper 4, variant 2. Yep, IGCSE questions are, in fact, all of IGCSE content, especially paper 4 of IGCSE, is very useful for O-level math students, okay? So O-level math students, please don't think that what I'm doing is irrelevant. It's very important for you, okay? Now, let's see what this question says. Complete the table. Okay, very simple. Simple, but I'm afraid a lot of students will end up losing marks here as well. Okay, why? Not because they don't know the concept, it's just that they're too casual about it. So 1 square is 1 upon, that's 1 upon 1, although you don't need a calculator for this, but to be on the safe side, use it. So that if you have to work out the value for some other value, you can simply change the 1 to 2 in this case, and what do we get? We get 4.5. There we go. Okay. Voice distortion again. Okay, let me fix this once and for all. Just give me 1 minute. What about now? Please tell me it's fine. Okay, I have maxed out the volume. Should be fine. Let's solve this question. So this question says complete the table. So we have completed the table. Acha, just let me get through this question, then I'll fix that issue as well. Okay, let me just get through this question for now. Okay, ये सवाल करते हैं फिर I'll fix that. On the grid, draw the graph of y is equals to x square plus 1 upon x for 0.2 to 2.5. अच्छा, अब ये समझ लो that this question basically involves two separate graphs. Okay, this question involves two separate graphs. So notice that this graph has already been drawn for you. This is on the negative side. The graph that we're going to draw is the one which has all the positive values. Okay, so first let's get familiar with the scale, then we will start drawing. So on the x-axis, we see 1 unit has been split into 10 small boxes, so that's equal to 0.1 unit per box. On the y-axis, 1 unit has been split into 5 boxes, so that's equal to 0.2 units per box. Okay. Achha. Then the first value is 0.2 comma 5. So 0.2 comma 5. 0.2 comma 5, that means it's going to be right over here. Okay. Then the next value is 0.3 comma 3.4. So 0.3 comma 3.4 means that it's going to be right over here. Okay. Now 0.5 comma 2.3, 0.5 comma 2.3, that's going to be right over here. No, wait a minute, 2.3. So 2.3 means in between 2.2 and 2.4. So double check as you go along. You don't want to mark a point and then realize that you've done something wrong. 0.3 and 5, and 0.3 and 3.4, that's also correct. 0.5 and 2.3, that's also correct. 1 comma 2, that's right here. Then we have 1.5 comma 2.9, so 2.9 will be exactly in between 2.8 and 3. And then we have 2 comma 4.5, so 4.5 will exactly be in between 4 and 5. And then we have 2.5 comma 6.7, so that's 6.2, 6.4, 6.6, 6.8. There we go. Okay, now let's join these points. What do we have? We have a nice and smooth curve. In fact, you know what? We should not take the shadow sketching part lightly. Here we go. Let's do that again. Here we go. Let's do it one more time. Here we go. Okay. Now let's do the real thing. That's it. Job done. Okay. Next part. By drawing suitable straight lines on the grid, solve the following equation. Chalo, ab ek kaam karo. I want you guys to have a look at the equation of the curve and tell me, these will be called reciprocal graphs. Actually, these will be considered as a mixture of both because it has x square, so it has a parabola and it has a reciprocal graph, so it will be considered a mix of both. Okay. Is proving congruency still in the syllabus? No, the proving part is no longer in the syllabus, but what's in the syllabus is the knowledge of congruency. That is still part of the syllabus. Okay. So I want you guys to quickly tell me what are the equations of the straight line that we're going to draw in this. Okay. और मैं इतने ज़रा फटाफट once and for all ये माइक का मसला हल कर लूँ. Okay. अब hopefully issue resolve हो गया होगा. When will the stream end? Probably around 12, because 12 o'clock my stream starts, my next stream starts, and I'll end it before that, inshallah. Okay, so let's have a look. Do we have the two equations? So for the first part, you can see this is equal to the equation of the curve, so y equals to minus 2 is the answer. Okay, so draw the line y equals to minus 2. Where is that going to be? That is going to be this right here. Acha, did the question say draw a suitable straight line? Yes, it did. Okay, so here when we draw a suitable straight line, notice that we only get one point of intersection. And what is that one point of intersection? Let's write that down. This one point of intersection will be minus 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. In between 0.4 and 0.5, so that's minus 0.45. Can you see the emojis? Yes, I can. I can. So minus 0.45 is the answer to the first part. Minus 0.45, the answer to the first part. एड मैथ की लाइव स्ट्रीम बहुत दिन हो गए हैं. हाँ, आप सही कह रहे हैं, वाकई काफ़ी दिन हो गए हैं. सो चलो लेट मी प्लान एन एड मैथ स्ट्रीम सून इंशाल्लाह. ओके, नाउ व्हाट अबाउट पार्ट 2? इन पार्ट 2 you have to first bring it equal to the equation of the curve. Achha, how will you bring it equal to the equation of the curve? You have two options. Remember, the equation of the curve is x square plus 1 upon x. So just keep x square plus 1 upon x on one side and shift this across the equals to sign. Okay, so if you shift this across the equals to sign, so you have x square plus 1 upon x, which is equal to minus x plus 1, which means the suitable straight line that the question is talking about is this one right here, y equals to minus x plus 1. How will I draw this straight line? To draw this straight line, we need some points. Okay, and ideally how many points? 3 points, but minimum is 2. Okay, minimum is 2, ideally 3. So let's substitute some random values in place of x and let's see what happens. So let's plug in minus 1. So if I do minus 1, that's going to become positive 1. 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. Let's plug in 0. If I do 0 plus 1, that's equal to 1. Let's do 1. If I do minus 1 plus 1, that's equal to 0. Okay, so all you have to do is just substitute values. Nothing too complicated here. Can we use rise over run? Rise over run, though, don't we use for calculating gradient? What are you going to use it here for? I'd like to know. What are you going to use it here for? So, why congruency knowledge in the sense that you should know what congruent means. Okay, and especially in circle properties, you know, you have two congruent triangles, so you won't have to prove it, but you should know exactly what it means. That is what is required. Okay. So could you please do a stream on integration, especially questions? Is that AS or A2? Shreya, nahi, kya naam hai? Shreya. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Khair. So let's mark the points. Minus 1, comma 2. So that's this right here. 0, comma 1 right here. 1, comma 2. Now let's join the points. And don't just join the points. Make sure that you extend this line as well. And when you extend it, you actually only get one point of intersection. Yeah, you just get one point of intersection. And what is that point of intersection? That point of intersection is minus, let's have a look. That point of intersection is minus 1.5, minus 1.6, minus 1.7, minus 1.8, minus 1.9. So minus 1.85. In between minus 1.8 and minus 1.9, so that's minus 1.85. There we go. Okay, sir, how would congruency questions be like? Beta, there will not be a question on congruency, okay? But you are expected to know what the term means, okay? And when can two triangles be congruent, okay? And this usually happens in circle properties. You know that circle property, when two tangents are drawn and they meet at an external point, the tangents are equal in length. ठीक है, मैंने ये उसमें समझाया हुआ है, circle properties की stream में समझाया हुआ है. Okay, so you have these two triangles that are congruent, so you should know what congruent basically means. That's what I mean. Okay, now k is an integer and the equation x square plus 1 upon k has 3 solutions. 3 solutions means what? Why would we need it? In circle properties, maybe in polygons, you may need it there. Okay, you may need it to realize that the two triangles are congruent, which means all the angles, all the lengths will be the same. You might need it there. 3 solutions means what? 3 solutions means that you have 3 points of intersection. This is what it means. 3 solutions means that you have 3 points of intersections. Okay. So you have x square plus 1 upon x equals to k. Okay. What's the equation of the curve? This is the equation of the curve. Sorry, x square plus 1 upon x equals to k. Now, what I can do is, I can simply replace this with the equation of the curve because that's what it is, y equals to k. You're welcome. Now, what kind of a line is y equals to k? What kind of a line is y is equals to k? Y equals to k, don't say is a straight line because all lines are straight. It's basically a horizontal line. Okay, this is a horizontal line. So what are we looking for? We are looking for a point where I can draw a horizontal line such that it has 3 points of intersection. Okay, where can I draw a horizontal line so that it has 3 points of intersection? ठीक हो गया. Let's do a bit of trial and error. So this is a horizontal line. Yeah, चलो एक काम करते हैं. How will you do this in the exam? This is how we're going to do this in the exam. So take out your scale. Okay. Now, as long as the line is here somewhere, we will have how many points of intersection? We will have 1 point of intersection. Okay. So follow along. 1 point of intersection, 1 point, 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 1 point. But here, how many points do we have? We have 2 points. Okay. If I draw a line such that it's tangent to the curve here and it cuts the curve here, we'll have 2 points. Okay. Any line above this will have how many points of intersection? We'll have 3 points of intersection. So if I draw a line over here, I will have 3 points of intersection. Okay, so imagine a horizontal line over here. So we'll have 1, 2, 3 points of intersection. If I draw a line over here, I will also have 1, 2, 3 points of intersection. Even if I draw a line at 5, although that would be taking a risk, but you will still have 3 points of intersection. Okay, why? Because 0.2 by 5 hai na? You will still have 3 points of intersection. So you know what? Play it safe. Either take 4 as the acceptable value or take 3. Okay, so it's either 4 or 3. These are the possible safe values. I'm not saying these are the only solutions. Acha, also notice that the question said integer, which means you can't take, if you're wondering, okay, why can I not take 3.5? Even though at 3.5 you will still have 3 solutions, but you can't do that. So you know what? I'm going to play it safe and I will say k equals to 4. Okay. We can take 5. We can take 5, but it's 5 bhi le sakte hain. Okay, because even at 5 you have 3 solutions. Okay, why? Because at 0.2 it is equal to 5, so 5 is acceptable. But you know what? When you know that this is totally acceptable, then go with 4. Okay, either go with 4 or go with 3, not 5. What's in the MS? Good question. Let's see what we have in the marking scheme. So this is question number 18. Let's see what the marking scheme says. Any integer greater than or equal to 2. Okay. 2 भी सही है. चलो ठीक है, 2 भी ले लेते हैं. But we don't have to write down all the answers, so I'm going to write down the answer which makes the most sense to me, so I'm going to go with 4. Okay? So I'm going to go with 4. 4 is the one that makes the most sense to me. I'm not going to take any unnecessary risk. Okay? Now, let's do another question. Let's do another similar question. And I think this looks nice. Yeah, let's do this one. Okay? So the table shows y equals to x square minus 3 upon 2x. X is not equal to 0 given correct to 1 decimal place. Okay. Complete the table. How many marks do you get for completing the table? You get 3 marks. Why 3 marks? Oh, because there are 3 values. So since you have to find out 3 values, you get 3 marks. Okay. So we have x square, which means minus 3, close the bracket, square, minus 3 over 2x, which means in place of x, I'll have minus 3. ठीक हो गया? What do we get? We get 19 over 2, which is equal to 9.5. तो क्या है हमारे पास? हमारे पास है 19 over 2, which is equal to 9.5. Okay, now let's plug in minus 2 in place of x. Okay, let's plug in minus 2 in place of x. What do we get? We get 19 over 4, which is 4.75. 3 marks for just plugging in the values in the calculator. Yeah, not bad, right? Now let's plug in 3. So 3 here and 3 here. So we get 17 over 2, which is 8.5. Okay. Why brackets and what cases when we do not have to put the brackets? Dekho. We have to take the square of minus 3. How do you take the square of minus 3? By doing minus 3 whole squared. Okay, if you have x squared and if the value of x is minus 3, so you will make sure that x is minus 3, all of x is minus 3, so that is why you will put it around the bracket. Okay? So you have to put a bracket. If you're plugging in a negative value in place of x, make sure you put it in a bracket. Simple as that. Okay, so don't make so many rules for yourself. When do I make bracket? When do I not make bracket? No. If you're plugging in values and the value is negative, value of x is negative, just make sure that you put it in a bracket. Do we plot points with a dot or a cross? Cross. Always a cross. Okay, no dots. Dots are not allowed. Cross. Okay, now let's start marking the values. Minus 3 to 9.5. So minus 3 comma 9.5, that's right here. Minus 2, 4.75. So 4.75 means in between 4.6. No, wait, 4.75, we'll have to settle with 4.8. Yeah. Okay, now minus 1 to 2.5. So minus 1 to 2.5 means in between 2 and 3. Then we have minus 0.5 and 3.3. So minus 0.5 and 3.3. So that's 3.2, 3.4, somewhere in between. अच्छा, अब इसका क्या मतलब है? What does this mean? That x is not equal to 0. And notice that there is a gap in between. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does the gap in between mean? So answer that question while I'm making a nice and smooth curve. Okay, I just noticed I missed a point. Minus 0.2 and 7.5. Oh yeah, I was wondering something's off. Minus 0.2 and 7.5. That's right here. So I will probably continue. There you go. It means that you will, if you plug in 0, what happens? The whole thing becomes infinity. Anything divided by 0 is infinity. Okay? Which means you will draw it into separate parts. So this is one part. Okay, this is one part of the graph. And now we're going to draw the second part. Okay, so here is one half of the graph. Okay, so here's the first part. And here is the second part. Acha, what's that? Y-axis is an asymptote. Yep, it means that y-axis is an asymptote. That is correct. Okay, now let's do the other half. 0.2 minus 7.5. So 0.2 and minus 7.5 will be somewhere over here. Then we have 0.5 and minus 2.8. So that's going to be somewhere over here. Then we have 1 and minus 0.5. So that's going to be over here. Then we have 2 comma 3.3. So 2 comma 3.3 means 3.2, 3.4, 3.3. That's this right here. And then we have 3 comma, I think this was 8.5. So 3 comma 8.5, that's this right here. Okay. Now let's draw the other half. And काफी अजीब ग्राफ है यार. Kind of like a very steep cumulative frequency curve. Nope. There you go. Okay, now by drawing a suitable straight line on the grid, solve the equation x squared minus 3 upon 2x equals to 24 upon 5 minus 2x. Okay, so once again, for questions like these, eyes on the prize. And what's the prize? The prize is the equation of the curve. Okay, so keep your eyes on the equation of the curve and see what you have to do in order to bring the left hand side equal to the equation of the curve. Do we have to do anything? No, technically we don't have to do anything at all. It's already equal to the equation of the curve. There's nothing we have to do except that we need to replace the left hand side with y. So y is equals to 24 upon 5 minus 2x. Okay, now what do we need? We need points. So let's take 2 or 3 points and join them together and get the straight line and then find out the points of intersection. Okay, so let's start with minus 1. If I take minus 1, so please use your calculator, 24 over 5 minus 2 into minus 1, that's equal to 6.8. Can we mark 6.8? Yes, we can. Okay, let's take 0. If I take 0 in place of x, we get 4.8. If I take 1 in place of x, we get 2.8. There we go. Okay. Now, minus 1, 6.8. Minus 1, 6.8 will be right here. Then we have 0 and 4.8. That will be right here. Then we have 1 and 2.8. That will be right here. Okay, let's see if these points line up. They do line up. Okay. And how many points of intersection are we expecting? We are expecting 2 points of intersection. Okay, so let's extend this. Yep, there's no point of intersection on that side. There's one on this side. So let's look at the points of intersection. The points of intersection that I can see are minus 0.3, that's one, and 1.55, that's another. So minus 0.3, x equals to minus 0.3, and then we have 1.55. Here we go. That's it. Okay, now, sir, please stream AdMaths kinematics detailed concepts video. But I already have detailed kinematics on. I already have videos on kinematics. Okay, I already have plenty of videos. So if I do a stream on AdMaths kinematics, which I will, by the way, I will do a stream on past paper questions, not concepts. Okay, now let's have a look at part C. Part C says the solutions to the equations x squared minus 3 upon 2x equals to 24 upon 5 minus 2x are also the solutions to this equation. All right, now find the values of a, b, and c. So a very similar question. Let's see what it says. So we have x squared minus 3 upon 2x, which is equal to 24 over 5 minus 2x. Okay, so keep your eyes on this. We have to bring it in this form. Okay. Let's see what I can do. So here we have 2x. Okay, what's the denominator here? The denominator is 1. So what are we going to do? We're going to multiply this by 2x. That means we're going to multiply this by 2x as well. So what do we have? We have 2x cubed into 1 into 1. So this is equal to minus 3. Okay, on the left hand side, let's take the LCM as well, which is going to be 5. Which means this 24 comes as it is into 5 into 5. So that is minus 10x. Okay. So I only found 2 videos of kinematics on your channel. I don't think that is the case. I don't think that's the case. Sir, आप super chat on क्यों नहीं कर लेते? I haven't really given it much thought really. Let me see. Let me discuss it with my team. Sir, no need for LCM. Why not? Of course we need LCM. Do you have any other plan? If you do, go ahead. So 5 times 2 is 10, so that's 10x cubed. minus 15 is equals to 2 times 24, that's equal to 48x minus 20x square. Move all the terms to the left hand side, so you have 10x cubed plus 20x square minus 48x minus 15 equals to 0. Okay, now what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to compare this with ax cubed plus bx square plus cx minus 15. Now let's compare and see what do we get. So a is equals to 10, b is equals to positive 20, and c is equals to minus 48. There you go. Job done. Okay, what about polynomial stream A-level maths? I'm streaming polynomials right after this stream, inshallah. Yeah, I am streaming polynomials right after this one. Okay. Questions from recent years. Yeah, thank you for reminding. Exponential growth का कुछ कर लें. I will do a stream on exponential growth, but if you're in a rush, you can have a look at the stream that I did last year. Okay, let's do a question from recent years. That's a good idea. पहले O level के करते हैं, फिर we'll do some questions from IGCSE as well. So winter 2025, paper 2, variant 1. Let me see if I can find difficult graphs of functions question. This is what this is. Nope, this is correlation. ओके पेपर 2 में सवाल ही नहीं आया. दैट मीन्स पेपर 1 में आया होगा, और अगर पेपर 1 में आया है तो इसका मतलब है कि वो स्केच करने से रिलेटेड होगा. यूज योर ग्राफ बाय ड्राइंग suitable straight line. It's very similar to paper 2. Paper, if a question like this comes in non-calculator, then usually we don't have the tangent related questions. So I don't think this is a difficult question, so I'll probably skip and look for some difficult questions. Let me find in May, June 2025. I hope I find a difficult question in May, June 2025. No question in paper 2, variant 3. Let's try paper 2, variant 2. अब ये सवाल है तो, but I will not classify this as a difficult question, but चलो, let's do it. Let's do it. Sir, will you stream on sketching? Yeah, I'll do a separate stream on sketching. Don't worry. Okay. In fact, even on sketching, I'll probably have to do multiple streams, because there are quadratic graphs, there are cubic graphs, there are exponential graphs, there are rational graphs. So I'll probably do a separate stream dedicated to sketching. Sir, how long you going gym? For quite a while, but I don't remember. I think I started just before COVID. Then had to take a break during lockdown, so I've been gymming since. Yeah. Okay. Now let's solve this question. This is from May, June 2025, paper 2, variant 2. So the first part is very simple. Just plug in minus 3 in place of x. Let's see what happens. So minus 3, open bracket, take the cube of it, minus 5 into minus 3 plus 4. What's that equal to? That's equal to minus 8. There we go. Okay. Now let's mark the points. Now on the horizontal axis, it's 1 unit that has been split into 10 small boxes, so that's 0.1 per box. So is cumulative frequency distribution part of S1 discrete random variable? Nope, they are two separate. Discrete random variable is separate. The screen is not working. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Just a second. I know, guys. Relax. Take it easy. There we go. So this is May, June 2025, paper 2, variant 2. ठीक हो गया? Okay. Now, so at minus 3, it's equal to 8. Minus 8, actually. So minus 3 minus 8, that's this right here. Then minus 2, it's equal to 6. So that's this right here. Then at minus 1, this is equal to 8. So that's this right here. Then at 0, it's equal to 4. Then at 1, it's equal to 0. At 2, it's equal to 2. At 3, it's equal to 16. ठीक हो गया. Now let's join the points, make a nice curve. Here we go. Okay, now curve ban gaya. Let's see what's next. What's next is, by drawing a suitable straight line on the grid, find the solutions of the equation. So graphs of functions के questions I think थोड़े हल्के हो गए हैं. They're not as difficult as they used to be. ठीक है, but that does not mean कि you go easy on this topic, you don't practice the difficult ones. Make sure you still practice the difficult ones. ठीक हो गया? Okay, now, yeah, this one's fairly easy वैसे. So all you have to do is bring the left hand side equal to the equation of the curve. So we have x cubed minus 5x. Now what do I need to do on the left hand side? I need to do, first of all, एक काम करते हैं, let's shift the 3 across the equals to sign. Okay, so let's do step 1. Let's bring it equal to, or let's bring it as close as possible to the equation of the curve. So let's shift the 3 across the equals to sign, which means we do a plus 4 on the left hand side, we do a plus 4 on the right hand side, or you can do it directly, you do add 7 on both sides. That's also acceptable. Okay, if you were thinking, okay, I add 7 on both sides, that's also acceptable. Same thing. So we have y equals to 7. So what is the suitable straight line that we're going to draw? The suitable straight line that we're going to draw is y equals to 7. Okay, so let's draw the line y equals to 7. Let's see where it ends. So this is the line y equals to 7. Here we are. Now, how many blanks are we given? We're given 3 blanks, which means we are going to end up with how many solutions? We're going to end up with 3 solutions. Okay, now let's mark these 3 solutions one by one. So there's this one right here, there's this one right here, and there's this one right here. Okay, now let's be careful with marking these solutions. So this is in between minus 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8. So I'm going to go with minus 1.75. Okay, I'm not going to take any unnecessary risks. I will write exactly what I see, minus 1.75. Then there is this one, which is in between minus 0.6 and minus 0.7. So I'm going to go with minus 0.65. Minus 0.65. Okay. Then there is this one, which is in between 2.4 and 2.5. So we're going to go with 2.45. There we go. ठीक हो गया. Completing square. Of course, completing square is required, guys. It's not something that's tested so frequently, but lately it is actually tested quite frequently. So it is important. Don't take completing square lightly. It's important. It's tested as completing square, and it's needed especially if you have to draw a quadratic curve. So I have plenty of videos on it as well in case you guys want to check it out. So let me see if my answers fall inside the acceptable range. Minus 1.95 to minus 1.7, that's acceptable. Minus 0.8 to minus 0.5, wow, very generous. 2.3 to 2.6, yep, they are all inside the acceptable range. Polynomial stream A-level maths. Javed, I'm doing a stream right after this one. So please suggest, should we do all Zenomatics topicals and go for yearly? Beta, sir, Zen ke jo topicals hain, wo unke, it's not that he has his own topicals, it's just that topical past papers are topical past papers. Bhale wo sir Zen ke ho, mere ho, sir XYZ ke ho. Just do topical past papers and start yearly past papers. Simple as that. Okay? The more you ask, the more you delay it. Okay, so it's not like when I make topical past papers, I add some unique questions of my own. Topical past papers are questions from past papers arranged topic wise. Simple as that. ठीक है. अब आप पूछते रहोगे 5 दिन तक अगर आपको जवाब नहीं मिलेगा, you'll probably just keep asking and you'll keep wasting time. Okay, so just start with yearly past papers and keep solving topical past papers on the side. Simple as that. ठीक है. कोई magic formula नहीं है. There is no one has a magic potion which we can give to you guys and it's going to be a game changer for you. No, there's no such thing. Start putting in the work, you'll start seeing the result. Simple as that. This is what I believe in. Okay, if you want to see result, you start putting in the hours. Simple as that. No rocket science. Acha, what's that, sir? Please stream permutation and combination. I'm really struggling. Mariam, I'll do permutation combination streams towards the end. So once I'm done with P1 and S1, then I'll do permutation combination streams. Okay, so this is also a recent graphs of function question. Let me see. If it's a difficult one, I will solve. Otherwise, I think we can skip it. And I think we are done for the day probably. 41 maybe dekh lete hain if we can find a difficult graphs of function question. Nope, no graphs of function question whatsoever. 43 dekh lete hain. 43 maybe nahi hai. Let's look at May June 2025. 43. Once again, very simple question. Very simple question. I didn't understand the y equals to 7 1. Okay, I'll explain that again. So whenever the question says by drawing a suitable straight line, what do? We bring the left hand side of the equation equal to the equation of the curve. Okay, so what's the equation of the curve? It's this right here. Now the first thing you do is you move the minus 3 across the equals to sign, so this is what you end up with. Let me just do it again. Okay, so minus 3 ko udhar bhejo. You have x cube minus 5x equals to 3. Okay. Now what do I do in order to bring the left hand side equal to the equation of the curve? What is it missing? We have x cube, we have minus 5x. The only thing that it's missing is a plus 4. So I'm going to do a plus 4 on the left hand side, I'm going to do a plus 4 on the right hand side, which means that this is now equal to the equation of the curve, and on the right hand side we have 3 plus 4, which is equal to 7. So what is the suitable straight line? This is the suitable straight line that we're going to draw. So draw this line. Not always the left hand side, it's always the side that is the closest to the equation of the curve, which is usually the left hand side. It's always the side which is closest to the equation of the curve, and that's usually the left hand side. So draw the line y equals to 7 and look for all the points of intersection. Here we have all the points of intersection. What's an asymptote? I really hope you... Chalo khair, better late than never. So I'll do a stream on asymptote, don't worry. Okay, asymptote is a topic that has been added recently in O levels. For IGCSE it was always there. In O levels it has been added recently, so I'll do a stream on it. Okay. So let's keep it till here only. I will stop here. Okay. I think we have done enough questions. I will encourage you guys to practice the remaining questions. Okay. We've covered pretty much every concept there is as far as graphs of functions are concerned. So I'll upload the solved versions and I will encourage you guys to solve the remaining questions. I didn't do all the questions, so I will encourage you guys to do another one. To do the remaining ones. I will see if there is another stream needed on graphs of functions. Okay, what do you guys think? You think we need another one? Yeah, kafi hai. I'm not talking about sketching. Sketching ke liye to I'll do another stream, don't worry. But this tangent, using the graph, drawing suitable straight lines, you think there is another stream? No, right? This was the second. So maybe one close to exams. Maybe one close to exams. Surds. Okay. Okay. Surds. Sounds good. More questions. So maybe I'll do one close to exams. Maybe I will do some other topics in between first, then I'll do another one on graphs of functions. Yep, asymptotes beta, IGCSE mein to hain hi, they are also part of O levels now. Okay, so I will do a stream on asymptotes as well, don't worry. Okay, so I will stop here. I'll see you guys inshallah in the next stream. So take care fellas, enjoy, and Allah Hafiz.